Welcome to an Osceola video chat. I'm Bob Ferranti here with Florida State women's basketball coach Sue Semrau and coach to start. I know we've been on Zoom for all the last couple of months, but to start, first of all, how are you? How's the family? And I know you've got your mom and dad in Seattle. Just tell us a little bit about how you are doing and your family.
Well, I appreciate you asking, Bob. That's been the toughest thing of all of it for me. I feel very torn, and I'm really waiting to see when it's safe to go out there. It'd be different if it were just cancer treatments, but obviously with the COVID and my parents being in their 80s, things are different. So, just still appreciate people's prayers.
I appreciate you giving the update. And, I think you said before we started recording, all the players are, well, maybe some are on campus, but they're not working out in the basketball training center or inside the Donald L. Tucker Center. Can you just give us a little bit of an update on how they're doing? You're keeping up with them via Zoom and other communication, but how are they doing right now these last couple of months?
Well, it's some of them stayed for a while, hoping that the facilities would open up. And then when you started to see the rims being taken down all over the city, I think it became increasingly difficult for them to do anything that was basketball related. So all of them left, and Isabella Nicoletti just came back, and she had just a routine scope on her knee, but we want to get her back rehabbed as best we can, going into the time that hopefully we can get back on the floor.
I know that data is still not yet to be determined. A lot of it revolves around testing, availability of testing, and the accuracy. Florida State, we should note, is trying to assemble a COVID-19 lab on campus, and that those efforts are rapidly being put in place to help you all get back on the court.
Yeah.
What kind of concerns, during this time when girls are talking about basketball, academics, finishing up the semester, how have you kind of handled communication with them, and just general questions maybe that they're asking of you?
Yeah. Well, I think obviously with the death of George Floyd, we've had a lot of conversation over the last 10 days about the emotions that are going on with that, about what is it that we can do, having those conversations, more than once, not just as a team, but individually. It's a good time to mobilize and to educate, and that's been going on for a number of years now. This isn't new. This is something that we've talked about and have to continue talking about. So we've done that. Really haven't talked a lot about basketball because right now it's only voluntary that you can work out. We could have film right now, but we don't see the value in that right now. If we can't get together, then we'll probably start that mid-June. But again, it's just making sure that they're good with their classes, they're healthy. They've all been texting our strength coach for workouts, which is great. and they know what to do on the court. It's just not the what, it's the how that we coaches want to see. And so we can't do that right now. So until we can, we'll just keep rolling.
And do you think, because a lot of us have a basketball hoop, maybe we know somebody who's got a basketball hoop, whether it be in our driveway or right down the road. Are some of the girls able to, just do enough to keep the skills going from a basketball standpoint, but also maybe running, conditioning, some kind of workouts?
Oh, the running and conditioning, absolutely. Even when they couldn't get into the weight room, Dave was, sending them ideas on, how to pick up, jars of something and sandbags and those types of things. So, but the basketball part of it, there's a couple of them that their parents went out and bought hoops, because they were taking the hoops down around the city. And so, it's funny just listening to them, Morgan Jones and Maya Brown, just saying, man, these things are hard to assemble. Even Brooke Wyckoff went out and built one for herself. So, it's something that's real, and people want to stay connected to the game.
And, You touched on George Floyd, and I think a lot of ladies have to be coming to you because you're, as much as you're a coach, you're a mentor and a mother and a big sister to one of those to all of them. How do you I guess how do you empathize, but also I think you want them to be able to express their emotions to you, to teammates, and maybe also on social media too.
Yeah, they've done an amazing job of being vulnerable. And I think it's important as a team so that their teammates can hear. We've got players not only that are white or players that are young Black women. We've got internationals, we've got biracial players, and so there's a lot of education that needs to happen. And I want to be a leader in that. I don't feel much like a basketball coach right now, but I do feel like a leader and someone that needs to lead conversation and needs to lead action for what's going to be coming. Uh, I think I was really uh, I was taken aback a bit when one of our players said, you know, I want to say something here. If I got pulled over, the first person I'd call would be Coach Sue. And that kind of took me back. And she said, because she is a white woman in power who has my back. And I've never thought of my responsibility as that. And it really helped me to see it from a different light.
Hmm. Wow, that's quite striking. What what advice have you maybe given? And I realize some of these conversations are deeply personal, and I'm not, trying to delve too deep. But what advice do you give to, young ladies besides clearly just talking and expressing emotions? Is there anything that you can say or that your assistants have said maybe to help at this time?
Yeah, I think it's all about relationships and being willing to share with those that you're closest with or those that you may have an influence on. Somebody said to me that this whole thing seems like a big barge that's out in the ocean, and you want to turn that barge around. Well, you got a motorboat and you just whip that thing around, but a barge is going to take a long time to turn. And this time it feels like the turn might be a little sharper, and we have a lot of hope in that. And I think too, I got a text from one of my former players that just said, thank you for having these conversations, these hard conversations at Florida State. I was able to reach out to my teammates of color and say, I'm with you and I'm standing with you. And it's really impactful to hear how much it means when someone like me or you would reach out to our friends of color and say, what can we do to help? We're here with you. We want to stand with you. But it can't just stop at talk. We've got to take action.
And like you said, I think we're finding some people are finding a how or what they want to do. And they're all, whether it's donating to certain causes or maybe volunteering their time, voting, who knows? We'll find maybe our own solution and what might make the most sense. No easy transition, but I do want to talk a little bit about basketball here. And you've losing three really valuable, productive pieces of the program, but bringing in a strong veteran core and having a lady like Bianca Jackson, as well as these transfers coming in. I think it has to be kind of an intriguing time because you want to see them on the court. You can't, but how much are you kind of looking forward to that day where you can sort of see everybody again and get to see the pieces come together?
It really is intriguing. And I've been blessed to be a basketball coach because we get a chance to live daily with people that are from different cultures. And so, that's part of the challenge, is to bring all these young women from different cultures and help them to believe in one mission and one goal. And I've been here before where we lost 5 seniors, and I know kind of what that feels like, and it's exciting in a way. It was 3 seniors this time, but 3 significant, 3 leading scorers. But we also had a lot of injuries. We had, an injury to Savannah Wilkinson. We had an injury to Cece Lassiter and to Isabella Nicoletti, to Amaya Brown. So those are some players that have some experience as well. And then, like you said, Bianca Jackson practiced all year. Just couldn't play with us, and she's really excited. And then bringing in a grad transfer, we felt like it was going to be important to have a point guard that had experience. And Tiana having 3 years of experience as a starting point guard, where none of the other point guards have any experience as a starting point guard. So that piece of it, I think, will be extremely helpful as well.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. The transfer portal can really help, as far as rebuilding. What you have two ladies in Sarah, is it Bajetti and Erin Howard. They will be, I presume, looking for an appeal to try and play next year, or do you think they might
Well, we're looking for one with Erin. I think Sarah she is content to come and to really learn and grow. And because, when I recruited Sarah, I didn't know that whether she'd be able to play or not. We thought that transfer rule would probably go into effect this year. Because it didn't, then we went and grabbed as much as we could Tiana England, who's tremendous. So I think Sarah sees this as an opportunity to really grow and to learn this year.
And I forgot to ask earlier, Kaya Gillespie, of course, being selected in the WNBA draft after a really remarkable college career. But we don't know if there's going to be a WNBA season. I know they're trying to put it off in hopes that they can play a shortened season with some playoffs, I presume. She's decided to potentially go Europe or to an international league. Maybe just tell us a little bit about her mindset of that line of thinking about just trying to get some experience there before she then comes back to Chicago next year.
Yeah, I think this was a really tough year for anybody who was coming out of college and going to the WNBA, because the training camps haven't even started. And yet there are contracts out there where these players need to get paid. And so the coaches and owners were forced to create an 11-man roster without seeing them this year. And so, because the team really likes Kaya, they wanted, to keep her rights. Whereas if they had waived her, then anybody would have had her rights. And they felt really strongly that, hey, we want to hang on to you, but if you'll just forego this year, go play in Europe and then come back next year. I think that's a really big compliment for her.
We'll see. Hopefully she gets on the basketball floor somewhere around the world, and we'll
That's right.
be watching her very closely. Well, Coach, thanks again so much for your time. We appreciate it. Best of luck. And of course, stay safe to you, the family, all the players.
You too, Bob. Thanks so much.